Welcome to another edition of Carnivore Bites. I'm your host, Jeff Sherman, along with Dr. Eric Lopkin. Dr. Lopkin, we had some slow weeks, and this is certainly not one of them, is it?
No, it's definitely not slow. We've got economic news coming in. We've got impeachment news coming in.
Economic news isn't bad.
No,
1.9.
GDP came in 0.5% higher than expected. Most of the indicators show, yes, the economy is slowing, but not nearly as fast as people were concerned about. Most people are now saying there's no sign of a recession till at least 2021. And those people that are making a big deal about the economic numbers being low seem to be forgetting that now, with these slower numbers, we have hit what Obama was calling the new normal.
Oh, no, there's no question about it. I think this is really troubling for me. It really is. Because let's face it, we're adults and we depend on the economy. And like many of the people listening to this podcast do. And I think there's a trade war factor. I believe the impeachment scenario is also dragging on the economy a bit.
Yes.
And I think if it goes into full bore impeachment, it will have a drag on the economy. And I find that highly troubling, which segues into the next area of discussion, the impeachment. I'm really outraged. No, I'm outraged. This is not fake outrage. First, we had the Russia hoax, or whatever you want to call it, okay? That didn't quite work out. Now we have the phone call. Was it the smartest bit of exchange I've ever heard? No. Is it impeachable? Are you crazy? Your view, Dr. Lopkin.
Yeah, it's definitely not impeachable.
Then what's going on, Lopkin?
This is a coup, pure and simple. This is the Democrats know that Trump will beat any of their candidates.
No, without any question.
They are trying to slow him down.
This does not scare you?
It terrifies me. But especially when you take a look at the vote today, because the vote was basically a party line vote. 2 Democrats voted not to impeach. No Republicans supported the impeachment. This is the Democratic Party, and they're still not quite playing by impeachment rules.
No, they're not at all. But here's the thing. What I've heard, again, another troubling fact, that they're going to get to the point they're going to call the hosts of Carnivore Radio in. In other words, you can drip for a year if you wanted to.
No. They're not going to drip. What they're planning on doing, and a number of them have stated this flat out, is now that these inquisitions, but these interviews have to be done in public, they are going to cherry pick the people that they have already questioned in private and only bring in the ones that they feel are damaging to Trump.
Okay, and you're saying the Republicans, they can't call anyone. They're not going to be allowed.
The Republicans can't call anyone. However, they do have the right to cross-examine now, at least.
Okay.
The one thing
this is very troubling. Okay, just because you're in America doesn't mean you're not part of a banana republic. And tell me, Dr. Lopkin, you're a very smart guy, known you for years. How is this any different than, I don't know, some banana republic in South America?
Oh, it really isn't. If the Democrats had followed impeachment procedure, then following this vote, the impeachment investigation would be handled by the Judicial Committee. They're not doing that. The hearings are going to be taken care of by the Intelligence Committee.
Which is just...
You may ask, what's the difference one committee over the other? But there's actually a big difference. With the Judicial Committee, everything is out in the open. With the Intelligence Committee, they can clamp down on details and not release them to the public.
And with the mainstream media in concert with the Democrats, I was listening to Breitbart this morning, and whoever the gentleman was filling in for the regular host, he had a good point. I'm sorry, it's just true that it's a marketing phenomenon and a psychological phenomenon. The more you hear something, the more you believe it. Lopkin's brilliant. Well, he's got to be brilliant. I mean, how many people call you doctor, right?
Right. Fortunately, though, the opinion of the public doesn't matter.
Yeah, but it does in the voting booth. That's what this is all about.
It does in the voting booth.
He's not going to be impeached. But what they're trying to do is weaken him, because you are correct. They don't have any. There's no way. I don't care, Bernie. I get it. Feel the Bernie. I get it. There's no way he's going to win. Okay, head to head.
No, Bernie's not going to win.
Elizabeth Warren, forget about it. The other ones are dropping like flies.
But what the Democrats are not taking into consideration is that the more they do this, the more they are energizing Trump's base.
Do you really believe that, or are you just repeating on things you hear?
No.
Do you really believe it?
I have seen people, people talking about it on social media, how they are saying that, the more that this drumbeat goes on, the less they believe it. And Trump supporters don't believe mainstream media anyway.
That is a quintessential point. No, this is the point. There's two forks in the road, as Johnny Carson used to say. Do you believe it more because you hear it, or do you start saying, okay, this is ridiculous? You say it gets to the point where people tune it out. You believe that?
It's not that people are tuning it out. It's that people are actively getting angry about this. If you take a look...
But why are the polls pretty close? It's like...
Well, again, first of all, we know from 2016 that Trump supporters don't answer these polls.
Mm-hmm.
Also, if you go on social media, don't look so much at the articles that are being shared. Look at the comments on those articles. We have many, many articles from liberal-leaning media about how the impeachment is going. But then take a look at the comments, and you see people talking back, basically saying how the media is in the Democrats' pocket, how this is a witch hunt. They believe that. And the fact of the matter is, there's evidence to support that, where so far there isn't any evidence to support impeachment.
Okay, so this plays out. It gets defeated in the Senate. Maybe one or two Republicans, like
Mitt Romney may vote for impeachment.
You know why he did? For his ego, to be the lone moral arbitrator and all that nonsense, right? So it gets shot down in the Senate. Okay, so what happens? What effect does it have in the election?
Honestly, it's going to energize both sides. The Democrats are going to use it to go, look, he was impeached. He's unfit to be president. We have to get rid of him. Meanwhile, Trump is going to be banging the drum louder, saying, look, they tried to get rid of me because they don't want me in here. They failed, and now they're trying to convince you to do it for them.
Okay, you gave Trump, I believe, at one point a 70 or 65% chance of winning. What say you now?
Right now, it's still about 65%.
Okay.
None of this has actually changed that.
Do you think the Democrats pay a price for basically hijacking the Constitution?
It depends on what goes on during the primaries. If Bernie, Biden, or Warren win, if one of those is the candidate, yes, they're going to have a problem, because these people are not capable of moving to the center at this point and bringing in that part of the electorate. If, say, Pete Buttigieg, who's actually been doing quite well in the polls since the last debate, if he ends up being the candidate. He's a lot more centrist. So he might be able to mitigate the problem.
Okay.
So it's really going to depend on what goes on in the Democratic primary.
But do you think people are going to wake up and know that this is, if it sees the light of day and people know that it's about the conversation and all that stuff, do you think there'll be a backlash like there was in 98?
I don't know that there will be like there was in 98. Now we're much more divided. And
True.
Basically, it's people who hate Trump and people who support Trump. And if they hate Trump, they're not going to vote for him no matter what is proven. They believe he's guilty regardless of evidence. If they're Trump supporters, unless there's a lot of evidence showing that, yes, he committed impeachable offenses, they're not going to leave him.
I think that's a good way to end this. And Dr. Lopkin, we certainly have a lot to talk about, and you'll be joining the show this Friday, correct?
We'll be on the air on Friday, yes.
Sounds good. Thanks a lot.
See you then. You've been listening to Carnivore Bites, part of the Exvadio Podcast Network. You can catch us every week at exvadio.com/podcasts, on the iHeartRadio app, the Apple Podcasts app, the iTunes Store, Spotify, and wherever you find podcasts. You can also catch us live every Friday at 4 on WESU FM 88.1.